Have a good week. Pesach is upon us, which is a wonderful thing. Okay, this shiur is dedicated, as always, to Rachalea Bas Rav Chaim Tzvi. It's our second chinuch shiur on Pesach. In the previous shiur, we focused more on the practical side of Pesach, the cleaning, how to conduct the seder so the kids will sort of not fade out, how to behave with your kids, how to keep them where they should be and what they should be if your Pesach is taking place as a guest, either at a hotel or at someone else's home. Today what we're going to talk about is really the ikar of Pesach, which is getting across to the kids the Exodus story, Sipor Yetziat Mitzrayim. So we're going to begin by talking about this, again, as always, first with younger children, middle childhood children, and older children. Younger children. So what's your goal in telling them Sipor Yetziat Mitzrayim? You have to have the goal very clear in your own mind, because it's very easy to get distracted with the drama of it all. The goal is that you want to make them aware of three basic ideas. Hashem is there, Hashem cares about us, and Hashem could break all the rules. That's the main message. The secondary message is that in the end there's justice, and that the wicked people will have to pay for their acts. Those are the two main messages that you want to get across. So the problem in getting them across is the story itself is so rich and complex that the kids can easily, for instance, know the plagues. And it's not hard to teach the plagues to young kids. Dam Tzvardeh, and they somehow lose track of this, that it has anything to do with Hashem, that it has anything to do with the shiur, that it has anything to do with Hashem saving us, that it has anything to do with His capacity. Okay, it gets lost. And I just noticed this. I had something in a totally different context. I had something happen on Shabbos with one of my grandchildren that made me realize how careful we have to be to see they get the whole picture. So here's a little grandchild, and he's talking about Avram Avinu's 4-door tent. Okay? So and Avram Avinu's tent had 4 doors. Like wherever you went, like there's a door. Okay. The other grandchild, who was younger than he, says, I know why they had 4 doors. Okay, so I'm listening. So if guests come and you don't want them, you could make them leave from any room they are in the house. How do you like that for interpretation? I was very moved. The first one, okay, the speaker, was very impressed by this interpretation, but he had his own novel, Chiddush, which is, if they come to get you, I didn't press who they were, if the terrible people come to get you, you have different ways to run away. So what does that tell me? It tells me that their ganenet, who's a marvelous ganenet, okay, got across the idea that Avram had 4 doors, but didn't make the connection clear enough. That he had to bring people in, that the story of his hospitality and the story of the 4-door tent are somehow related, is not something that a young child will necessarily pick up, as I saw. So the same holds true even more so with Yetziat Mitzrayim. So what are the nekudot you want to get across to very young children? Now remember, they're not big philosophers. So other questions that you'll have to deal with older children, such as, well, what's the big deal about Hashem rescuing him? Like, who put them into the shiur? These are not questions that little children have to ask or will ask, so you don't have to go there. So you begin with this, that Yaakov had to come to Mitzrayim, and Yosef was there, and Hashem gave them food and it was good. But then they forgot. What did they forget? They forgot that they were different than the Mitzrim. What do we do that's different than the Mitzrim? Now, they're not going to know. Okay, so this is something I guarantee you that you will have to tell them. We know about Hashem. We do what He wants us to do. We want to be good. And the Mitzrim, they just want to have things. And they don't care about anybody. That's the difference between us and the Mitzrim on this level. So the Mitzrim, okay, they also forgot. You know what they forgot? They forgot how good Yosef was to them. Who saved them in the 7 years of Ra'av? Who told them to put aside the food? Yosef, but they forgot. They said they would be good to all of Yosef's children. And when Yaakov came, Yosef's father, said like, wow, that's Yaakov. And they gave him good land. Then they forgot him. Okay, so then you can go on a little bit about how a tzaddik remembers. And a person who's not a tzaddik doesn't want to remember too much. Okay, which is a very big idea, by the way, in Kabbalah, but I'm not going to, you don't